that Luis Enrique, of the 16 games that he's managed PSG in the Champions League, he's only won 6 games. That's the lowest win ratio of any manager that's taken charge at PSG with at least 10 or more games. But that's horrendous.
And that's why you're here. You're not here to win Ligue 1.
Yeah, literally.
You're not here to win Ligue 1. You're here for this. And now you're sputtering in this competition? It's not good enough.
Well, let's get into our best and worst performances from Matchday 4.
Yeah.
Because we all picked one. And I think I'm kicking us off for best performer. And no Shakaruski here. I'm going with Luis Diaz for Liverpool, who scored his first career hat trick.
Epic. That's crazy.
I know. I was so surprised. He's had a bunch of matches with braces. Like, he scored. There's so many matches where he scored 2, but not 3. And he was just absolutely sensational in the second half for Liverpool.
I got some trivia. I think you would like this one.
I love trivia.
It's the first Colombian hat trick in the Champions League for 27 years, I believe. Who is the last Colombian to score a hat trick in the Champions League? Think about it. You don't need to come up with it now as we go through the rest of the segment.
All right. Who's up next? Charlie, who's your best performer of the Matchday 4?
I'm going to go with a manager, coach, Ruben Amorim.
Hard to argue with that.
Playing Manchester City with all the storylines, him already agreeing to sign for Manchester United, so this is his arch rival, playing in Sporting in his last Champions League match for Sporting, and outplaying Manchester City in the way that they did. They went down a goal, and Gyökeres to come with a hat trick, but he could have had 5 maybe in this game.
Yeah.
Was phenomenal, and he stuck to his principles and the way that they played. And we broke it down here on Morning Footy. He's so exceptional at getting his midfielders to be an outlet and then to play wide and use those wide areas, the wing backs, to create that space and then to come back in the middle once they pulled players out of position. It was phenomenal. So, tactician, master tactician.
Great shout.
And did it with grace.
Alexis.
Yeah, I'm going to say Inter and Atalanta's defending. Old school Italian defending, especially for Inter.
Is doing really, really well right now.
They held Stuttgart to 1 shot on target. Absolutely incredible. This is, this is
in Germany.
Yeah, in Germany, in their own home. This is, some of the beauty of Serie A style defending is their ability to clamp down, and their fans don't get mad at it. They love this. This is exactly what they want. They want to see this. There's a prowess to their defending that's absolutely out of this world.
Yeah, Bisek was good for Inter. Man, and they didn't even have Bastoni. And then you look at Atalanta. Our boy Kusunu came in for Kolasinac, who got injured. And that back line, you mentioned Alexis Jimsiti. You put him in your best 11. In Italy, they're raving about his performance yesterday, along with Ian in the back line. Catenaccio, baby.
All right.
Is back.
Nico, who's your performer of Matchday 4?
Gotta be Brest. I mean, their Cinderella story is incredible in the Champions League. They've never played in Europe before. Mind you, they play away from home when they're the home team, like an hour out of their stadium. Still in Brittany though, but it's an hour drive away. And man, they light teams up. They're unbeaten. They drew Bayer Leverkusen. The other 3 games were wins. They went to the 2-time defending Czech Republic champions to win. And Eric Roy deserves all the credit. Their manager played Doumbia out. Doumbia in his entire career with Brest only played 1 other time on the left wing. He opted to put him on the left wing again, and he was vital in both of their goals. So
they're playing well. Makes you want to see them.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yep, I knew it. All right, worst performances of Matchday 4. I'm going to go with Pep Guardiola. Because how often do we get to say that? Pretty much never. But he was outmanaged by Ruben Amorim in this one, and City just didn't have any answers for Sporting and how they were playing. And I was surprised. I really thought they were, because they went up early in this one.
It's crazy that we could say Pep was a worst performer.
I know,
in anything,
but he couldn't.
Right.
He looked puzzled.
Yeah.
Head scratching. And it's, again, this is probably maybe the only time we're ever going to get to say it. So that's why I picked Pep Guardiola mostly.
Fair.
Charlie.
Well, I'm going to go with a performer that I think we all have super high expectations of, and that's going to be Jude Bellingham. You are playing in the Bernabeu. You've proven yourself last season in the Champions League. This season, Jude Bellingham has 0 goals in Champions League and 0 goals in La Liga. That doesn't seem right, given how he started off with a bang for Real Madrid. So in this match, and Thierry Henry pointed out kind of what he does right now. It's not for a lack of effort. He's running. But in terms of what he's been able to do, yes, sure, he makes runs and the delivery's not there, but he hasn't executed. That's a perfect example of a beautiful cross. You got to finish that, Jude. We're holding you to world-class expectations. We're holding you to Ballon d'Or expectations. And it just hasn't worked for him. And
Is it his fault?
Yes, of course. I mean, it's not all his fault. But yes, you have to put some of the blame on him. You're putting yourself in that position. But you also look at what he's been asked to do this season as opposed to last season. You bring in one of the biggest faces in world football in Kylian Mbappe, your role changes, and he's been asked to do the dirty work. And Jude, being the person he is, says, fine, I'll do that. But then when the goals aren't coming, and Rodrigo is also injured, and you take Rodrigo out, now he's asked to do what he was supposed to do last season, this game, because now you're playing with just Mbappe and Vinny, and it just isn't working. It's not the same, and that is because Mbappe does not do what Rodrigo does in working on both sides of the ball.
Fair.
That's got to be frustrating. For me, it's going to be PSG. Speaking of worst performers. I mean, you talk about expectations set. What have we been saying about a team like PSG? This format almost gives you the opportunity to possibly lose one, pick up a couple points, but to be in a position where you're going to get completely knocked out of this competition and no more drop down, no more parachute into Europa. They are in 25th place. That is it. You're done if you stay in this position. You have to win. And your only win comes against Girona.
And barely.
And you muster a draw, and then you give up an opportunity to Angel Correa, the guy who's done this before.
But they were absolutely peppering.
Right.
But they were holding on by a thread.
But what happens to a team like PSG time and time again? Someone somewhere will capitulate. Today, Donnarumma holds the bag. But at some point, you have to stop making excuses. You have to bring this team together. Even without Neymar, even without Mbappe, even without Messi and all the big stars, this is a quality team, a team full of talent that should be at least in the top 8 in this competition.
Can you believe that Luis Enrique, of the 16 games that he's managed PSG in the Champions League, he's only won 6 games? That's the lowest win ratio of any manager that's taken charge at PSG with at least 10 or more games. But that's horrendous.
And that's why you're here. You're not here to win Ligue 1.
Yeah, literally.
You're not here to win Ligue 1. You're here for this. And now you're sputtering in this competition. It's not good enough.